Hey, what's up guys? My name's Samuel Leeds, and firstly, I hope you had an amazing Christmas. And I think, you know what, in between Christmas and New Year is a really, really good time to start studying and learning about property, preparing your business plan for 2022. So what I decided to do during this time is help my subscribers on YouTube to get their business plan in place, to answer their questions, and help them learn more about property investment through YouTube so that in 2022, bang, you can start the year knowing exactly what it is that you're doing. So today have decided I'm going to be answering any questions that you've got. If you're a subscriber, go ahead and ask me a question in the comments, and I will do my very best to answer you and help you in your property journey so that you can prepare for 2022, which is just a few days away. So I'm going to start answering questions now that have been commented last week. But if you've got questions now, comment below and I'll do my very, very best to help you. If you are not subscribed already, subscribe, hit the like button and start commenting below with your questions and how I can help. So, Zahid Ahmed, thank you for being a subscriber, my brother. I appreciate you. He says, my question is about buying a property for £30,000. That sounds very cheap. Can I get a mortgage for £30,000 or do I have to pay cash? Can I refinance after purchase? I'll wait for your answer. All right, so if you're buying a house for £30,000, my understanding, because the rules do change and lenders change their requirements, but you cannot get a mortgage on a house as cheap as £30,000, unfortunately. The very cheapest that you can buy a house and even think about getting a mortgage is £40,000. So if you're buying the house for £30,000, it could work. If you're buying it, you'd have to buy it cash or get a bridging loan, then it's no problem. But even bridging companies, I don't think, you'd be probably better off just getting a loan from a bank or a friend or a credit card. It's such a cheap house. You might be better getting a hard loan. However, I would only recommend doing that if you can increase the value of the property by maybe getting a new kitchen or fixing it and pushing the value to above £40,000, which means that you buy it cash for 30, you spend 5 pushing the value up, and then let's say the new value is 45, you could then refinance it, pull out all your money, and then boom. However, I don't know what property you're talking about, neither do I know your situation. So before you do that, always make sure you speak to a mortgage broker to make sure that you can refinance it at the end before you take a loan out to buy it cash. And also, of course, you need to make sure the property is a good property, it's in a decent area. You're not buying it for 30 grand and then it turns out that there's a mine shaft under it. So, you know, do your due diligence, do your research. If there's anything else I can help you with, let me know. I got you. All right, next question. Does your class applicable in Australia, Indonesia, Singapore, and Malaysia? Because 4 of this country have different prices on property and rent. The good news is yes, my teachings that I'm going to be sharing just generally on the YouTube channel apply pretty much all over the world, because property investment boils down to putting down money, investing money, and then seeing a return. So if you're buying a property in Malaysia or Singapore or Australia or in the UK, then you're going to want to be able to, the strategies are the same. So you put down a deposit, you rent it out, you see a good return on investment. Knowing how to work out the return on investment, your due diligence, appointing tenants in the properties. I mean, it's pretty, international stuff. In terms of things like rent to rent and buy, refurbish, refinance, these are also strategies that work all over the world. Of course, you need to make sure before you do a strategy that it works in your area. But even in the UK, the rules are different in Scotland and in Wales and in Ireland and in England. Even in England, the rules in London are different to the rules in Birmingham. So you need to make sure that you look at you're clued up on your local area knowledge. But the strategies, yes, they are pretty much global strategies. Congratulations. I'm looking forward to seeing you dominate Asia with your property investing skills. Stuart Leal says, anyhow, you think that doing real estate in Scotland is a good idea? Anyhow, I think, okay, Scotland. I love Scotland. I think real estate in Scotland is a good idea. I actually prefer the way that the Scots buy properties, because when you buy a property in Scotland, number one, you can't sell a house without having a home buyer's report done. So you have a survey on the house before you can sell it, which means that anyone that's offering on a house, before they offer, they've got a report on the house. They can see, they know exactly what they're buying. If you put an offer on a house and it's accepted, you have to go ahead and buy the house. So you can't mess around, there's no gazumping. So I really like the rules in Scotland. However, personally, I haven't got a portfolio in Scotland. My properties are all in England, and also I've got a small portfolio also in Wales. But yes, I think Scotland's great, and the returns in Scotland are great. And I've got many Scottish students that are investing heavily into Scotland. Another question on Scotland as well. Someone says here, I live in Aberdeen, help me out. Can you give me more info on doing all that you teach in Aberdeen, Scotland? Does it work up here? Thanks in advance. Absolutely. I mean, I've got a guy called, a friend called Simon, who I've trained and mentored, and he, about 3 years ago, came on the Property Investors Crash Course. He started packaging deals and selling them, and he was a deal sourcer. He did that in Scotland. He's now doing that. He's making about 20 grand a month from packaging and selling deals. He's just bought a property, or he's in the process of buying a property in Aberdeen, which is a huge, huge development project, which he's funding with zero of his own money, and that's in Aberdeen. So, you know, there's definitely money to be made in Aberdeen. I think it's really good if you live somewhere, you know the area really well. If you know the area really well, and then you learn the strategies that I teach, you can apply those two things together, you can really, really smash it in your hometown. So good luck in Aberdeen. All right, just a couple more questions. Zach Woodbury. If you're starting again with 15 grand and you had all your knowledge, what would you do? Rent to rent. Control houses instead of buying houses. You can make a lot more cash flow. Do you offer any courses in Ireland? Irish folks come and see me all the time. I went to Ireland on a financial freedom challenge. I dominated Ireland. So, yeah, man, we can hook up, we can do stuff. Congratulations. Where can I get in touch with experienced deal sourcers looking for BRR properties? I would probably do your first one yourself, because if you're trying to pay someone to find you a deal but you don't know what to do yourself, they'll pull the wool over your eyes. Is it a good investment to buy a £75,000 house near a university that is a 2-bed bringing in £1,200 a month? Sounds good to me. 75 grand house bringing in £1,200 a month rent? Sounds awesome. Of course, I can't advise you buy the house because I don't know anything about it or where it is, but those figures that you've told me sound amazing. Simon King, I've got £210,000 in equity in a £250,000 house. What's the way forward? Sell or refinance? All right, depends. If you refinance it, you need to look at what are your new interest payments going to be compared to the rent. And are you going to be cash flowing positive? If you are, refinance it. The money that you pull out is tax-free because they can't tax you on debt. If you refinance it and the rent won't cover the mortgage properly, then just sell that house, take the whole lot and reinvest it into property. That's generally what I would say. All right, we've got Christopher Hubbard. Please, can I ask, how do I find people to lend me money so that I could buy one and then do it up? I would say rather than trying to find someone to lend you money, if you start finding the deals, the money will come. So get really good at finding the deals, the money will come. Last question, R. Mendola. Please explain bridging loans. Would you please make an in-depth video on bridging loans? Pretty please. Look, bridging loans is a tool. Bridging loan is very simply a loan that you can use to buy a house, but it's very expensive. And it will bridge the gap between buying a house and getting a mortgage. There's some houses that are unmortgageable because they're in bad condition. They're inhabitable. There's no hot water. Maybe the seller just wants a really quick buy and says cash buyers only. So you're going to buy houses at a discount. You're going to buy them cheap. You're going to buy them cash. And you're going to use a bridging loan to buy them cheap, do them up, and then you're going to then refinance on a regular buy-to-let mortgage at the higher value. And then that new mortgage is going to pay off the bridging loan, leaving you with, hopefully, if you've done it right, a free house. Bridging finance is not a strategy in and of itself. It is a tool. So I hope that helps. Guys, hope you had a lovely Christmas. Comment your questions below and let's make 2022 an incredible year. God bless.